You know, I woke up this morning, B-Dubs, thinking about you, and for some reason, the movie Dirty Dancing came to mind.
Mm.
And I've just thought a lot about some of our recent conversations and how nobody puts baby in the corner. And I really was thinking that it'd be appropriate if we start the show off
hmm
with singing a little bit of Now I've Had the Time of My
Time of my
Life.
life. I was harmonizing. I
Do
was
you
waiting
remember
for
this
your lead.
song?
And I never felt this way
Oh,
before.
no, I swear it's the truth. And I
And
owe it all to you. And at that moment, I should be running to you, and you should be
yeah,
doing the whole lift,
sure.
holding me high in the air.
Unfortunately, due to
Maybe we could
virtual
do that for Key
limitations,
Leaders Academy.
I would be honored to do that for you. With you, I should say, not even for you. I would be fully engaged.
Oh, you always are fully engaged with me, buddy. And I wanted you to know too that I did my research like I do all my guests. So first of all, you are our resident Marine, and we want to thank you for your service. I know as a Marine, part of what you believe to your core is to run into a situation and to not back away from a fight. So tell us a little bit about the things that you bring to the role of Chief Leadership and Development Officer from your military background.
Accelerating problem solving and accelerating results are just a passion of mine. And I think in the whole area and space of leadership development and learning and development, if we can keep that vision, which we are, and we're setting an industry standard of the integration of both learning and performance outcomes, if we can actually run into learning from our amazing pool of leaders that are already subject matter experts, we can learn to run into conversations, into pulling up the best data from our leaders, pulling up the best practices from our leaders and pushing the best data from the top down as a whole organization. It's so helpful. It's something I'm really passionate about. So I love running into extracting the knowledge that helps people accelerate both problem solving and accelerate results ultimately. Because if we can help agents go further faster and accelerate those things, their lives are easier, and ultimately it helps us to impact more families and protect more families, and ultimately drive the profitability of our agents and our organization. So that's really what, at the core, if you kind of cut me open, you'll find me in and out. Everything I do is really about how do we accelerate results, and how do we do that in a way that honors, what the hard work has already been, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
And I want to say that we're so grateful here at Symmetry Financial Group and for Quility to invest in our agents to have a resource such as your office. I know it's not just you. I know you have a team of coaches that provide next level opportunities for people to come in to the system and be able to develop themselves. We often hear about it. Grow yourself to become a big enough battery for others to plug into. And you're constantly filling opportunities up all around our agents to be able to pour in and do that type of hard work that makes a large impact on the business side of what we do here in protecting families. So when you talk about running in to take action, I know as an agent trying to build a successful agency here, we come across many scenarios, and oftentimes you're reached out to and asked for a guidance, you're asked for advice on when should a person run into a problem themselves, or when should a person run up with a problem and seek advice and counsel from their upline. So let's start off with just a couple of quick examples, B-Dubs, and let me pose a couple scenarios, and you give your best advice on whether the agent should run in and solve this themselves or whether they should run up and seek counsel before they take any further steps. You got it?
I'm with you.
Scenario number one. My upline mentor does not have the same voice order as me, and it is difficult for us to feel like we're on the same page. Should an agent run in and lean into that more, or should they seek help and counsel from their upline?
All right, so starting with communication, right? The biggest myth about communication is often the illusion that it has happened, is something that we like to say around here. And it's not uncommon, right, for people to miss it with some people on a communication front, to clash on the communication front. But what we help our agents do is to mesh with people on the communication front by providing things like the language you spoke about, which is a tool called the 5 Voices that we utilize around here. So in that scenario, Todd, here's what I would say. I believe that the agent should run into that conversation with their mentor. And here's a couple thoughts about why I think that is the case. Number one, at some point, when you have a communication disconnect, you're going to have to talk to that person eventually anyway, right? Even if you go to someone else, there's going to have to be a conversation with that individual. And so provided that there's enough what we call psychological safety, right? That the environment is such that that mentor isn't being overly harsh with that agent or overly, in some way manipulative or whatever it is, I would say that agent should run into that conversation and just simply and clearly ask a question about the communication situation. And I would say it could look something like this. It would be something like, let's imagine, Todd, you're my manager, and I felt like we were disconnecting. I might just come to you and say, hey, Todd, I really appreciate the investment that you've made so far. But it seems like lately that we're kind of missing it in communication. And I'm just hoping you're open to a conversation so we can get some expectations and understand where we're coming from so we're not, disconnecting. And the way we train our leaders around here is such that that leader should welcome that conversation and say, hey, Brian, thank you so much for bringing that up and engaging that with me. So I would say they run into it first. Now, if that's a problem, if that leader shut the conversation down, didn't resolve it well, then you run up, right? You run up to the upline mentor. And eventually, if we found out, for example, in my role, in my area of leadership development, that a leader, went all the way up and it just said, hey, suck a lemon, it's just the way it is around here, we would actually have a conversation with that person. So that's my nutshell. And I think those are great conversations to have, learning how to be vulnerable, learning how to have the more, what Meredith Ellison, one of our founders, calls the rumbles, right? Having these healthy rumbles where we can grow and stretch.
And as you always teach, buddy, and as we constantly say around here, clear is kind. And so having that clear conversation, making sure that your expectations are clear, making sure your upline's expectations in return are very clear back to you, is really the solid foundation in which a lot of successful relationships are built on. So, great answer. Next question. I'm new here at Symmetry. I'm fired up. I see there are so many opportunities to protect our clients when it comes to term, to whole life, to advanced markets. We can look at annuities. I'm really excited. I want to jump into the advanced market solutions, B-dubs. Should I run into that or should I run up first?
Wow. Well, man, I appreciate your being fired up. I appreciate you wanting to dig in and, head to that advanced market space. And that is absolutely a run up conversation. That's a conversation where, again, the way we've designed our whole learning and development ecosystem is such that we're providing agents with what they need to learn when they need to learn it. And so as much as possible up front, we're helping them with, mastering the fundamentals and the basics, right? As a Packer fan, I'm fond of Vince Lombardi. When he was coaching the Packers, every season he would hold up a football and he'd say, boys, this is a football. And he would begin, with the fundamentals. So I think for us, there's that initial blocking and tackling that I know our sales office is working really hard on doing, and we're supporting that by providing just-in-time learning in an incredible world-class way. And so I would say run up, because there are some people perhaps that have industry experience that the mentor may accelerate that person's pathway, but it's absolutely a run-up conversation for our organization.
I like it. I like it. I want to say and take a moment to acknowledge just the amount of effort that you've put into the summit program that you just mentioned. And so we've got a lot of people tuning in that might not be familiar with what Summit is, and just how powerful of a tool it is, just how unique it is that Symmetry offers these types of programs to help ensure that you can focus the bulk of your time on making sure that you're protecting families, and that you're also growing yourself and becoming a strong enough leader in order to build a very successful agency. So Summit is something that has changed the trajectory of so many agencies across the company. I could go on and on with the success stories, with the gratitude speed ups that program has really brought to our organization. So for those new out there, talk to us a little bit about Summit, how it came to be, and what its overall goal is.
So, Todd, thank you so much for the encouragement. For us, we have a principle where we want the tools to do the heavy lifting. I am passionate about, and our organization is passionate about, providing world-class tools that actually accelerate your ability to make an impact in our organization. And so Summit, really, if we go way back to the history of where this started, was conversations when I was consulting and coaching out as an external vendor with Symmetry Financial Group, with Brandon Ellison, Casey Watkins, Brian Pope, and some of the other executive leaders at the time, about how do we actually understand, with all these different levels of leadership in our organization, how is it that someone can go from being a brand new agent all the way to the top of the organization? And so we launched a project. We called that The Process, probably because we have some Nick Saban fans around here. I think he's fond of his process. And so we called that The Process, and we did lots of research. We're talking in the hundreds and hundreds of man and woman hours of just extracting from our top people, from our leaders, what does that journey look like? And I brought in a framework for that project called the Leadership Pipeline. And without going into the detail of it, it really is so helpful in understanding how you start out in any career or organization leading yourself. That's sort of phase one. Then you go to leading others, to leading leaders, to leading an organization. And we found 3 transition points in the business. So fast forward to when I took my role about a year and 9 months ago, is that we said we need to really take that project to the next level. And in taking that project to the next level, we decided to put it into a technology form where a brand new agent coming in goes through a gamified action learning pathway that communicates not only with them, but with their mentors, so that people can track the journey. And what we did with that is we broke down in step-by-step fashion what it takes, what knowledge you need to have, what skills you need to develop, what attitudes you need, and all the business management tools and the leader development tools and the product and kind of sales knowledge tools. And we put that into this product that lives in our technology environment, and it's called Summit. And again, the whole idea of Summit is to accelerate business results by providing what agents need to learn when they need to learn it, so that they're not stuck out there trying to figure out how to do everything. And also, we're giving the best information that we have to the whole organization. So we have incredible leaders in different functions in our field agency world. So we might have somebody that gets recruited by an excellent agent out in California, and somebody that gets recruited by an excellent agent leader out in Maryland. And both of those people are going to have different strengths and understandings, but creating Summit allows us to unify and give everyone what they need to win. So it's constantly an improvement. 2023 is going to be a big year for us, improving and upgrading lots of products that we're working on. Really, really big rollout coming next year too, along with that. So we're pretty excited.
Yeah, man. I think it's pretty obvious when you see the impact that you've had on this organization with Summit and with so many other key opportunities that you provide throughout the years for agencies to come and plug themselves into and really acquire some elite training that's provided by your office. And to me, it's no more apparent than when I get the fortunate chance to go out and travel with you. I know at conference, I know at going down to Mexico recently, we were out on the beach doing a leadership development teaching session, and it's just cool to see, B-dubs. Like, it's hard for you to take more than 5 or 10 steps without an agent that wants to stop you and tell you how you've impacted them. Or most of the time they want to come get a selfie with the goat and give you a little quick excerpt of just how they've taken some of your teachings and put it into practice, and to give you the results, and to constantly pull from you and look to further add on top of some of the lessons they've already taken away from your session. So I know one of the things that we're extremely grateful for on the distribution side are the many opportunities that we create throughout the year to come and plug into some next level training. Would you mind talking to us a little bit about some of those programs that we have throughout the year, and some maybe new ones that we could be excited about?
So one of those programs that we're excited about is called our Key Leader Academy. And our Key Leader Academy is one that we really focus on a pretty deep dive on the leader themselves that are coming to that program. Because on your Key Leader to Agency Owner run, it is vital that you learn the skills of leading others and begin to learn how to lead leaders. But the focus is on really, how do I become a leader worth following? And so we've put together some content there that is, again, world-class. The things that we do are rooted in research and best practices. And so we want to be both like state of the science and then state of the symmetry art.
Yeah.
We're trying to take all of that best stuff, which very few organizations do that, and really put it into our world. And so we're really excited about that, focusing on the competency of that leader, their identity, and how do we grow them in maturity. So that's one we're really proud of and excited about, that our leaders themselves help to build. Our Agency Owner Academy, Todd, you've been a part of that for many years. We didn't, that's been a proven program. That's another one that is just a staple here, where we get on site together and really help people at the agency ownership level to really own their business, because we act like owners because we own it. And so we want to provide for folks all the tools they need to own their business. And so that's across departmental, contracting, marketing, leads, everyone's involved in that, sales. And we get to really get some face time together, where we get that association and have great dinners together out in beautiful Asheville is usually where that's located, and just get some time on site, which there's no substitute for that, like just rubbing shoulders and being together. So lots of great things rolling out on that front. And in addition to our coaching and training system, which is a whole nother ecosystem where we position expert coaches from outside our organization and provide just a great value for our agents to focus on things that they need to grow in as leaders. So the third academy is really an interesting one, Todd, in that it's a mastermind. And it's a mastermind that was built by some of our top field leaders, our partners, and they actually developed the content of that, or not really even the content, they developed the experience of that in such a way that people are invited in when they hit a level of leadership in our organization, and they own that and they manage that themselves. And it's very much a peer-to-peer accountability mastermind. What are the needs of people on the journey to the top contract of our company and beyond? And so it's actually something that is great, because it got birthed organically by the top leaders. They saw a need for this and they manage it and lead it, and we just stay in conversation, and it works really well that way. So again, lots of different push-pull learning opportunities for folks to engage in our learning and development ecosystem.
Man, sounds like to really consider all the things that's been accomplished by your office and the opportunities that you provided. It sounds like you guys are still just getting started, and we appreciate the innovation and appreciate all that you do, B-Dubs. I could get pretty emotional pretty quick if I started going down the many stories that I know that where agents have had their lives impacted, where people might have felt like they were in a dark space, and you provided some light and gave them a path to get back to a much better place in their own lives and their own businesses. You just create such a powerful impact, and I think having you be a part of this organization is such a blessing. And I'd like to kind of just end it on talking to you about what are you fired up for, coming from somebody that's been a Marine, that's owned his own companies, has been consultants to some of the top organizations across the country. Why did you pick Quility? Why did you want to be a part of Symmetry? And what about the future excites you the most?
That's easy. Well, again, thanks again for the encouragement. Lots of impact people in this organization make this a great environment to work in. For me, it's a really, really simple answer. Why did I pick Symmetry and Quility? And it was really the opportunity of really two things. Number one, working with people that I respect, admire, and trust implicitly at the senior level. And number two, the opportunity to take a lot of the skills and experiences that I had, both in leading organizations and consulting and from my PhD work, to be able to bring those into building systems to take this organization into the future. It became just really, really clear that there's some opportunities that come into your path throughout your life that even though, again, I was enjoying my entrepreneurial world and doing just fine outside of Quility and Symmetry, everything, all the signals lined up to say, this is one of those once in a lifetime opportunities to just come in and work with people I respect and trust, and then bring in the skills and experiences that I've had to sort of take this company to the next level. And so that's it. It's pretty simple. It's all about the people, and people and strategy for me. That's been the common theme, the intersection of those things. And so really excited to keep building that out. That's really what I'm fired up about is the learning and development and leader development strategy in 2023 is going to get, again, much more clear, some new tools being rolled out that make the data visible, right? A lot of these dynamics are often hidden and invisible for people, but we're quantifying a lot of that experience for agents. And so on the sales dashboard front, on the leader development front, 2023 and beyond are going to be really helpful.
Yeah, really excited for some of the things that are coming down the pipe. I know that we're already right now we're analyzing the results from the latest QPI survey, which your office leads, and which really digs in deep to each individual's leadership skills within their own agency. It provides so much light to probably some blind spots that are areas that we all can improve on, and that we can maybe name it to tame it, as you always like to say, that we can identify some of the key places that we can grow in our business moving forward. But also, I love how your office is really leaning into the data analytics side, creating dashboards that look at the key metrics of this business, from recruiting to onboarding to looking at the profitability of one's own business to make sure that we're protecting clients in the right way, to make sure that we're continuing to have the revenue streams that we need in order to staff up. Speaking of staffing up, you're helping our agencies build blueprints on exactly when and how they should staff up in order to allow themselves to continue to focus on doing the most profitable activities. B-Dubs, I could go on and on and on just of the impact that you and your entire team make. So I just want to thank you for coming on today. I want to thank you for always giving your time. I want to thank you for the long hours and the weekends that I see you work, and the stories that I get from our agents that feel so connected to you and feel so seen, heard, and loved. And want you to know that you are making a tremendous impact, and we are very, very grateful to be in partnership with you, my friend.
Well, thank you. It's been an absolute honor to work with you as well, my friend, and just lots of great impact and adventure ahead. So super grateful for all the teams that make all this possible, and the organization that is learning how to adjust and adapt to an ever-changing world and market, and doing it really, really well. So best ahead.
We've enjoyed the episode here with Brian Williamson, Chief Leadership and Development Officer. And until we see everybody again on the next Todd Talks, everybody have a wonderful day out there.